What's up, YouTube? And today I'm going to be showing you guys one of the decks that has been dominating the OCG metagame, and the deck that many of you guys are probably familiar with, and that is Swordsoul, or Souls, Swordsoul. Yeah. Anyways, rely on like a synchro strategy to advance its game state, very similar to Virtual World, and it also has some really cool applications and synergy with Fusion Destiny. Without further ado, guys, we're gonna jump right into the deck profile. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on these type of videos on the decks that I'm gonna be showcasing. I'll kind of want to give you guys a little showcase of what to expect for the new metagame, and of course the free tournament that I'm gonna be hosting pretty soon. Check out my description box for more information, and we'll jump right into the video. This is the deck that I have constructed for the TCG metagame, One Wicked Burst of Destiny. So, I start off with Ecclesia, the Virtuous in white. It's one of the tuners in the deck. This card is really sick, allowing you to tutor out any Soul Sword monster from your deck, and at end phase, it adds itself back from the grave to the hand if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn. That effect is really dope because it actually checks every end phase if you put a fusion monster in the graveyard this turn, allowing you to constantly add back follow-up. And that was one of the issues of Swordsoul. Like, it didn't have a consistent follow-up, and that was one of the things I really didn't like about it. However, with cards like Instant Fusion and cards like Fusion Destiny, it now makes Ecclesia a card that adds you follow-up. And of course, going second, this card is very similar to Analyzer. You're able to summon itself from the hand. So it, like, going second is a really good card at breaking opponent's board, and going first, it's a very strong card at dodging cards like Veiler and Impermanence. Next, we play 3 of the Rodent archetype. This card is really nice. It basically searches you any sorcerer monsters. You play Lord Yuan, which is like the Karis of the archetype, which allows you to pitch one of a word monster or a soul sword monster, and allows you to summon itself in a level 4 token. This is the card that allows you to go into like the Baroness line, which basically negates anything. You have Moye, which can reveal a word monster or a Jing card in the hand to make a token. All the tokens, I guess that's the gimmick of this deck, are tuner tokens, which are pretty unique because we don't really normally see tuner tokens. I think the only other example of that is like the Speedroid deck that has like the new trap card that makes like token tuners. But other than that, this is one of the first archetypes to introduce a mechanic like this. The other thing about that is that when this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can draw 1 card. And all of these monsters, these Swordsoul monsters, have effects when they're synchroed off. They all have like various effects. Moya is one of the best one, be able to get you a +1. The Lord Yuan burns your opponent for 1200. I don't know why they added this effect in, but definitely going to cause a lot of issues for people like in time. And Tai sends any war monster or any Jiang card, Soul Sword cards from the deck to the grave. Typically, you want to dump another trap card just so you can banish it with the Shishao to like negate a card, and then this card, when it's banished, makes a token. But I'll jump into that as we start. Next, we have like Fusion Destiny. This card sends Celestial Dasher to the graveyard in order to make destroy Phoenix Enforcer. As I mentioned already, like one of the synergies with this deck is that as Phoenix Enforcer pops itself and pops a card your opponent controls, at the end phase, Ecclesia gets to add itself back to your hand, which is really nice. Getting consistent follow-up and getting you multiple pluses is really strong. And of course, like the multiple draws you can get off Dasher and the effect of summon from the hand off Celestial is really relevant because, or off of Dasher is really relevant because like Moye and Taye can like use their effects and you do your play without your normal summon, which is really nice. Play Pot of Prosperity because I think the deck can be a little bit more consistent. It doesn't really have like tankies in the deck except for like this Rhoda. I think Pot of Prosperity makes the deck a little bit more consistent. Yeah, it sucks that you can't use your Moye to draw, but being able to play the game I think is more important than trying to get the draw off of Moye. Then I play 1 Grand Peak. This card's at 1 and Tai is at 1. So those are the questions you guys might be considering. Like, why are these cards at 1? Well, Tai by itself doesn't really accomplish much. You need like the Rhoda for it to be good because you have to banish a Soul Sword card from the graveyard, or War Monster from the graveyard for this card to be good. So it's usually good post turn 3, not really good turn 1. So that's why this card is at 1. If you play the 10U version, then this card is good at 3. But if you don't play the 10U version, this card is not really that good. Next, you have like the Reborn. This card is very similar to the same reason as Tai. It's not really good turn 1. It's only good turn 3. So if you follow like kind of like my deck building logic, is I usually max out cards that if a card's in my deck and it's good enough to be my deck, I just play 3 of it. And cards that are at 1 are generally cards that like are searchable. And they're like good follow-up cards, but I don't really want to open them. So these are cards that I really don't want to open them, but they're really good searchable follow-up cards. And, you know, that stays true for the rest of the deck that you see here, which like the triple Ash, triple Imperm, triple Veil. I think these are just generically good hand traps. With Flunders in the meta, I think one of the best hand traps into that deck is like Imperm. And the Ash is generic, and then Veiler's generic. Veiler and Ash are really good into the mirror matches, so that's why I like having these cards. And then you have 3 of the Sudden Shift, which is like, it's very similar to like Revolt, I guess. Like it's searchable, but I like to max it out because I think having this card is really nice if you get stopped, because it makes it so like you can just pop 2 cards that are opponent control. So I kind of just want to max out the trap card. Also because we play Gulsark, which I'll explain later why. But Gulsark can banish the trap card, and when the trap card is banished, it summons a tuner token as an extender. So if you go like normal summon Moye, reveal like something, and you get Veilered on this, you can Gulsark a trap and then make a token anyways, which is really strong. And then, of course, like it's also relevant if the game lasts long enough, the Gulsark will add you back the trap from the banish back to your hand. Tactics can be another like flex spot. I'm not really sure what it was. I think like Crossout is not as good in this deck as in other decks, because like I'd rather have cards that are consistently better going second. And then Crossout is only really strong going first. Maybe you can take out the talents for Crossout, but right now I'm testing out talents. But either it could be swapped either or. So I'll leave it up to you guys in the comment section to see what you prefer, but I've been preferring tactics over droplets, talents over Crossout right now. Instant Fusion, because it summons the Magic Key Beast, which is the only tuner fusion monster, which allows you to keep extending if you get stopped. It also makes it so that if you get like Token Collector, you can activate this, and then like still go for synchro plays. Call by the Grave, I mean, it's very obvious why you play, and then Gulsark, like I said before, to banish this and get follow-up. And then like against like trap decks, you can even go Gulsark into like Fusion Destiny, and then like get Fusion Destiny against trap decks, and that might help you win like grindy games against trap cards against trap decks as well. Southstone and Dasher here for like of course like the Fusion Destiny target. Next into the extra deck, like there's a really cool tech which is Shooting Riser. You can make this card really easily. With like if you banish like Grand Spiritual Peak or the Rhoda, you can reduce a monster by 1 level, like the Soul Swords or like the Worm, which allows you to make this. This card can send Token Collector to the graveyard, which is like really nice because it makes it so that you're what do you call it? You can then like in the mirror matches, you can send Token Collector, search Token Collector, and then Token Collector your opponent. Next you have like Yazi. That's just because it can pop itself and summon any war monster from your deck, so it's very strong. Boxia should probably be a 2 of. Wasn't really sure what to cut. Crimson Blade is really good in the mirror match. If you Crimson Blade your opponent, it usually like stops all the rest of their plays. And then you have like it also like is really strong to like Virtual World, for example. If you stop Virtual World and like you Crimson Blader them, they just can't play next turn. You also have like Omega, which is really I guess like they can make Zeus, so that's not always true, but I guess in this deck in the mirror match is like really good. Next we have like Omega, just as like another level 8 option that you can make. You have Dragat, which can negate spells or trap with because you have Moye. You have Shishao that can like search you or banish any sorcerer card from your deck or word monster. Or it can banish or add any sorcerer card from your deck, and it has a quick effect to target any other effect monster on the field and negate it by banishing any Jing card or word monster from your hand or graveyard. So like a cool thing that you can do is you can activate this, banishing Sudden Shift to negate a card, and then Sudden Shift triggers to make a token, and then you can use Sudden Shift to target the token because it's a word monster, and target 2 cards your opponent controls, and then just blow them out of the which is pretty nice. You also have like the Chen Ying, which is like basically Thunder Dragon Titan. It's really like honestly, if this card's on the field, all your opponent's monsters become like super tiny, and then when it would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish 1 card from the graveyard to protect it instead. The cool application here is that if you make Chen Ying and then you have a Sudden Shift, you can go Sudden Shift, pop the Chen Ying, and pop 2 back row, and then like Chen Ying can then trigger because it would protect itself, right, by banishing 1. And then it can then trigger to when a card is banished for any reason, you can banish 1 card from your opponent's field and graveyard. So if your opponent activates cards like Desires or anything like that, you can actually trigger like Chen Ying to like just banish their cards non-targeting, which is crazy. Then you have like Barrenness, which is another Synchro 10 for the deck, which is It can target a card on the field, destroy it. While it's on face up on the field, you can Omni negate any card. And then once returned during the standby phase, you can target a level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard to return this card to extract and special summon that card. So it's a really, really good card for like bringing back like Chi Xiao if you really wanted to. You can also bring back like Moye and then trigger Moye and then just like keep popping off. So it's a card that guarantees you follow up. So it's very, very strong. Bagusa's in here because like you can talent your opponents like token collector if they token collector you or something, and then like make Baguska. And Baguska in attack position is actually very relevant because it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Also, it cannot be targeted. So it can't be targeted and it can't be destroyed while in an attack position. So like it usually like is able to like connect and like make a Zeus after. So that's like was an option. So that's why I put Zeus in here. Phoenix Enforcer, as I already mentioned, is in here because it's really good strong synergy with Ecclesia. The Magic Key Beast because of the instant fusion and the Anaconda Verte. Just to like, if you somehow get into a grindy game where you keep getting Veil on your Moye and you got Veiler twice, you can convert both of them to an Anaconda and try to get access to your Fusion Destiny to play. So that's pretty much like the deck, guys. And I'm gonna like kind of show you a little bit more about like how the combo works. The deck isn't really like a one-card combo deck. It usually revolves around having like multiple cards. So like this is an example of like, I guess kind of having multiple cards, but the way you would do this is you could normal summon Ecclesia, activate its effect. You would summon Moye. You use Moye's effect to reveal the sudden shift in your hand to make a token. You would then use both of these to Synchro 8 into the Chi Xiao. You'll go Chainlink 1 Chi Xiao, Chainlink 2 Moye to draw a card. And then this card triggers, which allows you to add, and you can banish or add any Soul Sword card from your deck to your hand. So what I would do is I would add the Lord Yuan, because we already have the trap card. I would then activate Lord Yuan, pitching the spell card to make a token and summon itself. I'll synchro both of these off into like the Baroness, for example, and then I'll trigger this to burn my opponent for 1200. And then I'll just set pop 2, and I'll just pass turn with 2 hand traps, negate, another negate, and a pop 2. So that's like 2 disruptions, 3 disruptions, 4 disruptions, 5 disruptions, 6 disruptions, which is really, really hard to crack. The only issue is you see right here, if they crack your board, you don't really have good follow-up. The only follow-up you can get is Baroness, which can like, you know, if I draw a card, okay, I did draw like, this card is still not playable by itself, but in standby phase, I can activate this to return to the extra deck, summon back the, let's say, Moye, and then reveal the other Moye. Or if I didn't draw a starter, I can bring back Ecclesia, then tribute the Ecclesia to summon the Taye from the deck, and then like play with the Taye. So what I mean by that is I can go like Taye, banish this, make a token. When this gets banished, make one of this a level 3. Use this and this into Yazi. Yazi pop itself and pop a card they control. Yazi triggers, which then summons Moye from the deck. Moye triggers, reveals this in your hand. Make a token. Go for another Synchro 8 line. Get more pluses. Pop cards, break their back row, and then just keeps like going and going. So I hope you guys enjoy like the deck profile and the little combo tutorial and like how this deck kind of functions. Of course, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what decks you else would want me to like feature. Let me know if you also want to see the 10U version of this deck. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.